We recently learned just how much content is set to be coming into RuneScape Dragonwilds inside of that roadmap breakdown video that I did. Check that out if you haven't already. But in response to all of the content inside of that roadmap, I actually wanted to take a step back and realistically talk about what is going to be coming next, and also what sort of resources that you guys should be gathering in mass to set yourself up nicely for when this update does finally drop. To start off, let's talk about what we can expect to see next. First off, we've got steel coming up as the next smeltable metal. We may also possibly get mithril inside of whatever new update drops, whatever new region. However, we can for sure expect to be getting steel next, which of course requires coal and iron. So me personally, I'm stocking up on a bunch of unsmelted iron in order to turn this into steel instantly as soon as the update comes out. You're going to be able to use the steel on armor and weapons and tools, obviously. However, you also can use the steel in order to craft arrows. So in my personal opinion, there's no real need to stock up on thousands and thousands of iron arrows, considering that we have steel coming out right around the corner. Maybe just, a few thousand iron arrows to get you into that new region when it drops. But really, there's no need to craft 100,000 iron arrows or something like that. So honestly, you're probably better off leaving your iron ore unsmelted in preparation for that steel. But we also have the magic and ranged combat skills set to unlock at some point in time. So you're probably best off getting yourself some sort of tier of the mage and range gear, preferably the highest level tier. I don't know exactly if there's like a level requirement to that. Say, for example, Dragon Mage or Dragon Blight Mage armor, whatever it's called. Does that require level 40 magic to even wield? I don't know. But it would probably be a safe bet to craft yourself both the Dragon Blight mage armor as well as the range version of that armor, just to be ready for when those combat skills do drop. And actually, when it comes to the level cap, you can cheese that by finding tomes of experience inside of chests and then kind of like waiting for that chest to reset and finding another tome of experience. Regardless, though, I'm talking about resources here, so let's go ahead and move on to the next bit of content that we can expect to see, which is building expansions. You got the defenses going up as well as a new tier of building coming out most likely. So personally, I think stocking up on things like granite and sandstone as well as the dust that correlates with those stones is a really good idea. And the same goes with wood planks, really. Currently, as it stands, you can make ash planks, but you can also make oak planks, with those oak planks most likely being used in the next tier of building. So if you plan on doing a bunch of building after the next update, I would definitely stock up on a good healthy chunk of oak planks. On top of that, like I said, we have magic and range combat coming out, and with magic we can presumably expect to see some more spells come into the game, which are going to require more runes and possibly even different runes. I'm talking chaos and death runes maybe. So it'd definitely be worthwhile not only maxing out some of your rune space. I don't know if you can max out the capacity of runes that you're carrying, but it might be worth really getting those up to like 10, 20,000 each or something like that. And also stacking up on a good healthy chunk of some rune essence, just so that you can craft chaos or death runes should those come into the game with this new update. I was going to say that gathering onions and cabbages and whatnot off of the ground for some of the higher tier cookables might actually be a good idea. But considering the fact in this roadmap they actually mention farming coming into the game, I really think that your time might be better spent doing something else other than picking onions up off of the ground. That being said, though, with the way that the hunger and thirst system works in this game, it is still definitely worth your time cooking up some form of some backlog of some food, as well as a nice chunk of some water. And also when it comes to potions, those are a bit different because those would actually be worth stocking up on, especially when it comes to your health potions and your anti-poison potions. Having a nice stock of those for when the next area drops would be a good idea. Some of the resources that I'm personally planning on stocking up on that don't currently have much of a use case, but I am imagining that they will in the future, is, like I said, sandstone as well as granite and the powdered version of those, as well as gold and silver ore I've been stocking up on. And also, like I said, iron ore, boatloads of that for when coal finally drops. When it comes to logs, in reality, I'm stocking up a decent amount of them, but I'm not going too overboard here because I'm highly anticipating something like maples or yew trees to eventually work their way into the game. So I'd imagine eventually that these oaks and definitely the ash logs are going to become irrelevant. You could maybe make the same argument with the gold and silver being a little bit niche, but however, in some of the higher end armors, it's already required as a resource. And on top of that, eventually jewelry making is going to be making its way into the game. So we're going to be able to mess around with that. So I want a nice, healthy chunk of gold and silver ore. Just to put a quick cap on this video, I want to summarize all of the items that I'm personally going to spend time stocking up. That, of course, being iron ore #1. But then we have health potions, anti-poison potions, and regular food following up behind the iron ore. After which we're going to be loading up on granite, sandstone, silver, and gold ore. And then finally capping it off, filling out our wood storage with some oak wood as well as oak planks for the next building tier, because you guys know that we love building around here. And honestly, this isn't even mentioning some of the monster drops, such as the monstrous fangs that drop off the abyssal demon, which will eventually be used to craft some sort of masterwork weapon. But I don't think you're going to need hundreds of these monstrous fangs the way that I think you're going to need hundreds or possibly even thousands of iron ore, or definitely thousands of coal when that drops. But be sure to let me know down in the comments what you guys are stacking up on for the upcoming Dragonwilds updates. Keep an eye out on the channel as soon as we get any more information on those possible release dates, any sort of patch notes, anything. I will be breaking that down here. But that's all I wanted to talk about today. I hope you guys all have an amazing day. I'm out.